Our brains are not evolved to understand large numbers. As a result, we tend to underestimate how large 1 billion is. We will explain to you how large a billion is with the help of two examples. Suppose somehow you get $1 billion. If you spent $1,000 every day, you would be spending for about 2,740 years before you went broke. Let's understand it with another example. If you take 1 billion $1 bills and put them in a stack, after about 30 years your pile would be almost 70 miles high, which is 65,000 times the average height of the Americans. If you earned $50 million in your lifetime, you would consider yourself rich. But you would still be $950 million away from being a billionaire. It is difficult or almost impossible to spend such a large amount of money in your entire life. That's what we mean by hoarding wealth. If billionaires cannot spend their money in their life, there is no reason why they should hoard more wealth while others are homeless, starving, and dying of curable diseases. Poor people die only because they do not have enough money to have proper treatment of themselves. We talked about a billion, but what about Centibillion? Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon, has a net worth of $178 billion. If spending $1 billion in your entire is difficult, then what about $178 billion? If he spends $1,000 every day, it would take 487,720 years to consume all of his money. Suppose the lifespan of his generations to be 100, then his 4,887 generations can spend $1,000 a day. Please subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon so that you don't miss any of our video. In an article on the 21st of January 2019, Time magazine wrote, "The world's top 26 billionaires own as much wealth as the poorest 3.8 billion people." On June 4, 2020, Business Insider posted that billionaires got $565 billion richer during the pandemic, making $42 billion a week on average. The United States now has 630 billionaires, whose wealth totaled nearly $3.7 trillion as of the 29th of July 2020. Meanwhile, the 400 richest Americans according to the Forbes rankings, have as much combined wealth as the poorest 64% of American households. Mark Zuckerberg, CEO of Facebook, a young billionaire, conceded that billionaires should not exist.
No one deserves to have that much money, right? I mean, that's not like, I don't, it's, you know, I think if you do something that's good, you get rewarded, but I do think some of these, some of the wealth that can be accumulated is unreasonable. And I mean, part of this is why my wife and I started the Chan Zuckerberg Initiative, our philanthropy, and pledged that we're going to give 99% of our Facebook shares away through that over our lifetime.
You can become a billionaire by only two ways. Number 1, inherit it, which is 44% of all the billionaires. Number 2, merciless exploitation of the working class. If you make $156,000 a year, which is triple the U.S. median income, it would take you 6,410 years to earn $1 billion. If you make the federal minimum wage, it would take you almost 70,000 years. Billionaires do not create wealth, laborers create wealth for them. Self-made billionaires acquire their wealth by exploiting the working class. Jeff Bezos is the richest man in the world. In his company Amazon, employees can be fired for taking bathroom breaks, and suffer notoriously bad working conditions. He makes more in 1 minute than his warehouse workers make in 1 year. This incident was reported by Forbes. Most of us think that if billionaires earn a lot, they donate a large amount of their income to charity. Jeff Bezos made a headline by donating $100 million to Feeding America in April. He makes $215 million a day. In 2019, Bill Gates donated $589 million to a charity, which is 0.5% of his net worth. The wealth billionaires are donating came directly from exploiting the poor. Throwing a teeny fraction of the money they stole back to charity does not erase that. Billionaires' existence reinforces the conditions necessary for extreme poverty to exist in the first place and vice versa. Source: Forbes World Billionaire List. Billionaires are some of the most important political figures in the country, but they are unelected, which means the public has no direct way of holding them accountable. They devote massive amounts of money to cut government programs and slashing taxes on corporations and the rich, against the wishes of the majority of Americans. But when speaking publicly, they almost always say things that Americans broadly agree with or that will improve their image. It would cost $20 billion to end homelessness in the United States. Jeff Bezos can do that tomorrow and still have $158 billion to his name. Halting global warming would cost $300 billion. The world's 10 richest people could each throw in $30 billion and still have $386 billion among themselves. They don't care about us. Don't cape for them, don't claim them, don't defend the indefensible.